Good morning, students. This is Anjali, Assistant Professor, Department of CAC, AIML, IARE, Hyderabad. Today's our topic is verbal communication. Actually, we have already started about the communication. In previous class, we have seen that about the communication. By using the communication, it is easy to convey the message to the destination, and we can communicate by using different parts like different plots, graphs, charts. So it is very easy to understand the data and to understand the pattern to the user. So this is all about the whatever we have seen in previous class. Today we will see that what is verbal communication, types of verbal communication, advantages of verbal communication, and improving the verbal communication. We will see one by one. Verbal communication. The verbal communication means effectively presenting your thoughts in verbal format. That means we can say that by talking. Communication means it's one of the technique where we are presenting our skill, we are presenting our thoughts in front of the people, in front of the audience. And the verbal communication skills are essential in the world of the business, and be it weekly meeting or presentation to stakeholders, the importance verbal communication is unparalleled. Actually, people always remember a person who speaks clearly, effectively, confidently, and charismatically. Actually, verbal communication is technique where we are presenting our thoughts, views very effectively. And for instance, Apple co-founder Steve Jobs' speech launching iPhone is a classic example of brilliant verbal communication that people remember even today. So similarly, many speeches made by former US President Barack Obama are also unforgettable. Actually, powerful speaker is also able to connect with their audience easily. That means by using the communication, if you will do communication very effectively, so it will be very easy to connect with the audience, with the customer. Like Oprah Winfrey says that great communication begins with the connection. That means there should be the connection between 2 or 3 people, between speaker and the audience. So you too can be great speaker with the patience, and most of us possess means of the verbal communication. What is important is to recognize how to maximize them. So there are some characteristics of the verbal communication. Before we explore the various defining features of verbal communication, let's see some of the very important facts. Actually, the verbal communication is oral in nature, and the oral communication encompasses various activities such as talking, laughing, and listening also. Whenever we are talking about the communication, definitely there will become these 3 facts: talking, listening, and the laughing. So we often navigate different emotional situations through the oral forms of the communication. And we have also written communication that includes the script, alphabets, acronyms, logos, and the graphics. And to interpret the written messages, everyone involved must understand the code. And this is different from verbal or spoken communication. So there are several characteristics that are specific to verbal communication, namely the message being communicated is directly on or indirectly related to an object. We use the concepts to communicate the message. Then third one is that the content should be understood by both the sender and the receiver. Then The factors influence the content of the messages. And while communicating emotions and the feelings, the sender's state of the mind influences the content of the messages. So these are the characteristics that are specific related to the verbal communication. Even though we talk to our friends, family or co-workers on regular basis, we may not always be aware of how we are communicating. But mastering the art of the verbal communication will help you in more ways than one. Let's explore different types of the verbal communication and how your audience factors into it. Types of verbal communication. Actually, verbal communication goes beyond words, then sounds, then languages. These three factors are very important. So you need to know your audience to talk to them better. And remember that you can follow the pyramid principle and you can start with your main argument and then follow up with supporting statements. And now you can classify verbal communication into 4 types based on your audience. First type is intrapersonal communication. This is your private verbal communication channel and you talk to yourself and articulate your thoughts. Then communicating with yourself will give you more confidence and clarity in your thoughts. Whenever you will talk with yourself, so at that time you can analyze your weakness, you can improve your qualities, you can increase your confidence and you can clear your thoughts. You can clear about your thoughts. So it will help you make up your mind. Then you can form your sentences, find suitable words and effective ways to connect with your people. And this will help you gain your colleagues' trust in the workplace. Then second one is interpersonal communication. In interpersonal communication, you can also call this one-to-one verbal communication. And this type of communication between only two individuals. And actually it helps you understand if you are getting your thoughts across clearly. Generally, reactions, responses and verbals and non-verbal cues from the other person will help you to understand whether you are being understood or not. And it will make sure that you listen to the other person intently. Communication doesn't just mean to talk someone, and it's also about the listening also. So listen, think and then respond. Here, first you have to take the time to think, then make sure you don't offend the people with your response. Now third one is that the small group communication. The number of people increases in small group communication. You move from communicating with a single participant to a few more. Here this small group could be team meetings, board meetings or sales meetings. And the number of participants is generally small enough for everyone to communicate with each other. And whenever you will attend the small group meetings, so you should prepare with the topic to make sure you stay on the track and stay on the topic and allow enough time for everyone to present their thoughts. Now fourth one is that public communication. Here you may also know this type of public speaking. Here an individual addresses a large number of people at once, like speeches, election campaigns, then presentations are few examples of the public communication. Since the number of people in the audience is larger in this type of the communication, so be sure to use the words or phrases and they will understand easily and structure your thoughts before addressing the audience. The more prepared you are and the more confident you will feel like a public speaker. So we have seen that the 4 types of the verbal communication: interpersonal verbal communication, intrapersonal verbal communication, then small group communication and public communication. Now there are various elements that help us organize our thoughts around it. That are first tone. When you express yourself, your tone determines the message to be interpreted. So here our tone should be very politely. For example, you can be saying something nice, but if your tone is sarcastic tone, the message will be conveyed differently. But your tone, so your tone makes a huge difference to your speech. Then second one is the speed. The pace at which you speak is important as it determines the reaction of your audience. And you may have attended the lectures or webinars where people speaking slowly and softly can get boring. Similarly, it may be difficult to understand someone speaking at a rapid pace. Then third one is that volume. Volume ranges from a whisper to a scream. The volume at which you talk can convey various meanings. For example, if you whisper into someone's ears in the presence of multiple people, so it can be misconstrued as something negative. On the other hand, screaming while someone is talking is rude. Always monitor your volume depending on the social context you are in. Now, additionally, language, grammar, and vocabulary are critical aspects of the verbal communication. An erroneous message to a hiring manager, for example, can make or break your career opportunity. This is why verbal communication is a critical skill for success in professional setting as well. And the effective communication helps with decision making. It will increase the collaboration in the team. So we will look here some benefits of the verbal communication. Now there are advantages of the verbal communication. So verbal communication is one of the most important medium of the communication. And the stronger your communication skills are, easier it is for you to establish trust, then build a lasting relationship with others. So verbal communication, by using the verbal communication, it is very easy to convey your message. It is like one of the medium of the communication. If you have a strong communication skill, then it will be easy for you to establish the trust and to build the relationship with the others. And there are again some benefits of the strong verbal communication. That means it provides the complete understanding and there is room to clarify any messages that may have been misunderstood. It is one of the fastest modes of communication and is time efficient. There is a space for providing feedback which allows two or more people to engage in a conversation at the same time. Then it allows the speaker to exercise influence, then persuade listeners to agree with your ideas, thoughts, and opinions. And it is flexible, that is, you can change your language, tone depending on the situation you are in or the relationship you share with an individual. Now, in short, verbal communication is one of the most reliable methods of the communication. So we will see some benefit, how it will be beneficial in the professional life. So first one is the building relationships. The verbal communication allows you to build a strong interpersonal relationship. And it is easy to find like-minded people who share similar interests, ideas, outlooks, and this further encourages you to cooperate, collaborate, and engage in the teamwork. Now, second one is that persuading someone. In professional settings, you need to exert a certain amount of influence to get the things going. Now, for example, if you want your co-workers to join your project, and you need to be able to convince them first. Even in brainstorming session also, you need to be able to convince others of your ideas and the perspective. Now third one is that bringing clarity. As a verbal communication enables a feedback, you can provide the clarity to your message by repeating yourself. Now, for example, in conflicts or arguments, you can repeat your message so that there is no room for ambiguity. Then fourth one is that improving the productivity. With proper communication in place, you can communicate effectively with team members, then team members and people across the organization. Well-established relationship enhance the process, allowing you to cooperate and to collaborate quickly. Group discussion, teamwork maximize output, therefore increasing the productivity. Now we will see the improving verbal communication. There are number of tools and the techniques that you can use to improve the effectiveness of your verbal communication. So these include the reinforcement, reflection, clarification and the questioning. So we will see one by one. First one is reinforcement. Reinforcement is the use of encouraging words alongside non-verbal gestures such as head nods, then a warm facial expressions and maintaining the eye contact. So these all things are included in the reinforcement, and all these help to build rapport and are more likely to reinforce openness in the others. The use of the encouragement and the positive reinforcement can encourage others to participate in the discussion. Then they can show the interest in what other people have to say. Then again have paved the way of development and maintenance of the relationship. Allay fears and give the reassurance. Show warmth and the openness and reduce the shyness or nervousness in ourselves and the other. So by using the reinforcement, that means if you will use the encouragement and the positive reinforcement, so it will be help to encourage the others and to participate in the discussion. Then you can show they can increase the interest for development and a development relationship. Even they can allay fear and give the reassurance. They can show the warmth and the openness, and it will help to reduce the shyness and nervousness in ourselves and the others also. So next one is the reflection. The reflecting is the process of paraphrasing and restating both the feelings and the words of the speaker. The purposes of the reflecting are to allow the speaker to hear their own thoughts and to focus on what they say and feel. That means here speaker have to listen their own thoughts, and after that they have to focus on what they have to say and what they are feeling, to show the speaker that you are trying to perceive the world as they see it, and that you are doing your best to understand their messages, to encourage them to continue talking. Then reflecting does not involve you asking questions, introducing a new topic or leading the conversation in another direction. Now speakers are helped through reflecting, as it not only allows them to feel understood, but it also gives them the opportunity to focus their ideas. And this in turn helps them to direct their thoughts and further encourages them to continue speaking. Now next one is the clarification. In communication, clarification involves offering back to the speaker the essential meaning as understood by the listener of what they have just said, thereby checking that listener understanding is correct and resolving any areas of confusion or misunderstanding. If you are very clear about your thoughts, then it will be easy for you, and it will be easy for your audience also. Your audience can understand what you want to say, and There will be no creation of the misunderstanding. So clarification is a very important in many situations, and especially when what is being communicated is difficult in some way. And communication can be difficult for many reasons. Perhaps sensitive emotions are being discussed, or you are listening to some complex information or following the instructions. Now next one is the questioning. Questioning is broadly how we obtain information from others on specific topics. The questioning is essential way of clarifying areas that are unclear or test your understanding. So when you will ask the question to yourself, so it will be very easy to clear your ideas, and it will be very easy to understand, and it can also enable you to explicitly seek support from the others. On more social level, questioning is also useful technique for starting the conversation, for drawing someone into a conversation, or simply show interest. Effectively, questioning is therefore essential element of the verbal communication. So there are two main types of the question. One is the closed door question and another one is the open question. So we will see first closed function. Closed question. Question tend to seek only one or two word answer. That means we can say simply yes or no. So therefore, there is a limit of the scope of the response. For example, did you travel by car today? Just it is an example. So here we will give the answer either yes or no. Then second one, did you see the football game yesterday? Here also answer is only yes or no. So these types of the question allow the questioner to remain in control of the communication. So this is often not the desired outcome when trying to encourage verbal communication. So many people try to focus on using the open questions more often. And nevertheless, closed question can be useful for focusing discussion, obtaining clear and concise answers when needed. Now, next one is open questions. The open questions demand further discussion and elaboration. They therefore broaden the scope of the response. They include, for example, what was the traffic like this morning? Then what do you feel you would like to gain from this discussion? So here we will discuss something. We will elaborate our answer. So this is your open question, and open question will take longer to the answer, but they give the other person far more scope for self-expression and encourage involvement in the conversation. So by using the open questions, it is very easy to express ourselves. But in closed question, what is happening? We are giving the answer only in the form of the yes or no. That means a one word answer will be there. So we have seen there are some types like questioning, open question and a closed question. After that, clarification, reflection, reinforcement. So by using these things, we can improve our verbal questions, verbal communication. And after improving, it will be very useful for us to express in front of the audience. So this is all about the verbal communication. These are your references, so you can go through this. Thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.